In Misbelief, Ariely embarks on a personal and intellectual journey to understand a troubling phenomenon: why otherwise rational, intelligent people come to believe in irrational and sometimes dangerous ideas. The book is born not only from his expertise as a behavioral scientist but also from his own experience as the target of bizarre conspiracy theories. After becoming the subject of online attacks and being accused of leading a secret global plot, Ariely was drawn to study how misbelief forms, spreads, and transforms people's identities. The central narrative of the book weaves together Ariely's personal trauma, case studies of individuals who fell down the rabbit hole of misbelief, and a wealth of psychological research. His own ordeal began when his academic work on COVID-related behavior and vaccinations was twisted by online conspiracists into false narratives. People accused him of profiting from lockdowns and controlling the global population. At first, this seemed absurd. But as the harassment escalated, it turned into something deeply personal, and frightening. This deeply human experience led Ariely to ask not how crazy people believe crazy things, but how normal people end up embracing deeply irrational beliefs. He quickly moves beyond the idea that misbelief is the result of ignorance or stupidity. Instead, he reveals that misbelief is often a defensive response, an emotional strategy people adopt when their identity, stability, or autonomy feels threatened. These beliefs offer comfort, certainty, and a sense of belonging in an increasingly complex and chaotic world. He introduces the concept of the misbelief spiral, a slow and often invisible process by which someone begins to doubt conventional explanations, then becomes vulnerable to alternative narratives. This spiral usually begins not with facts but with emotional vulnerability, an injury, a betrayal, a deep sense of mistrust. From there, people begin to question the mainstream, often guided by others who offer answers that seem to explain their pain or confusion. The book makes it clear that logic and evidence alone are rarely enough to counteract misbelief. When someone's belief system is tied to their emotional or social survival, counterarguments are seen not as clarifying truths but as attacks. Ariely recounts how individuals become isolated from friends and family, often replacing those relationships with online communities that reinforce their new worldview. Ariely delves into the brain's natural tendency toward pattern recognition, confirmation bias, and agency detection. These are not flaws, but features of human cognition that evolved to help us make sense of an unpredictable world. Unfortunately, these same tools make us susceptible to false patterns, like imagining connections between unrelated events or attributing evil intentions to vague entities like governments or pharmaceutical companies. One of the most powerful forces driving misbelief is mistrust, particularly of institutions, experts, and systems that once held moral or factual authority. When people feel ignored, mistreated, or powerless, mistrust festers. In that vacuum, conspiracy theories flourish. They offer simple explanations for complex problems and villains to blame. This emotional clarity is far more compelling than the messy, uncertain reality. Another critical insight is that the internet has radically altered the environment in which beliefs form. Social media platforms amplify outrage, accelerate polarization, and reward engagement over truth. Ariely explains how algorithms push people toward more extreme content because it keeps them online longer. In this environment, false information doesn't need to be persuasive, it just needs to be sticky, emotional, and repeated. Ariely also emphasizes the social component of misbelief. It's not just about what someone believes. It's about who they belong to because of that belief. Once someone joins a group that shares and reinforces their worldview, belief becomes identity. Dissent is not just disagreement, it's betrayal. This is why people cling to disproven ideas even when shown clear evidence, because letting go would mean losing their place in the group. The personal stories Ariely shares are poignant. We meet parents who lose children to online cults of misinformation, partners who watch loved ones spiral into belief systems built on paranoia, and individuals who come back from the edge, often after years of heartbreak. These stories are not cautionary tales about foolish people, they are empathetic portraits of human vulnerability. Ariely is careful to point out that no one is immune to misbelief. He explains how emotional pain, loneliness, trauma, and even boredom can make anyone susceptible. The key is not to laugh at or demonize those who fall for falsehoods, but to understand the process and build emotional, social, and informational resilience against it. One of the more hopeful parts of the book addresses how people come back. Ariely highlights interventions based on connection rather than confrontation. People are more likely to reconsider their beliefs when they feel heard, respected, and gently invited back into a world that doesn't shame them. The challenge is not just correcting false information, but offering an emotionally safer narrative. The book doesn't provide a silver bullet, but it does offer a toolkit for thinking more critically about how we form beliefs. Ariely advocates for slower thinking, emotional awareness, and compassionate dialogue. He also calls for societal changes, better education in media literacy, healthier digital platforms, and more trustworthy institutions. The solution, he suggests, is not just individual but collective. Ultimately, misbelief is not about those people over there who believe crazy things. It's about all of us. The line between rationality and irrationality is much thinner than we like to think. Under the right circumstances, any of us could cross it. What matters is how we stay aware of that line, and how we treat those who've already stepped over it. Ariely's tone throughout the book is generous, thoughtful, and humble. He doesn't pretend to have all the answers, but he offers something better, a deeper understanding of the forces shaping our mental and emotional lives. In an age of division, Misbelief is a timely call to empathy, curiosity, and the courage to face the complexity of truth.